planting landmines that killed many civilians, including women and children. How would you comment on this as opposed to the constructive role of the Saudi-led coalition when it comes to clearing a great number of land mines?
Well, it is reported within some international reports by Human Rights reports, Human Rights Watch reports, and Amnesty reports as well, and so many like national and international human rights organizations. The Houthis are in the blacklisted of the United Nations for targeting children and civilian as well. No one can ignore the situation in the city of Taiz, where the Houthis in a daily basis target the civilians in the city and besieging the city, like preventing all sort of humanitarian aids from entering and going to the civilians there. This is one aspect of the issue. The other aspect is, as you said, in the country of the city, in the country of these Taiz provinces. There are many villages which were attacked by the Houthis in a different way. Firstly, by taking children as soldiers, and so many human rights organizations across the region and the world are mentioning this. The Houthis now, I think they are number one maybe in the world who are recruiting and having children as soldiers in different ways, in the front lines, in the front lines of the fighting, and using them as messengers between their fighters, using them to transport and to distribute like food and weapons to different fighters in different places in the city of Taiz and other cities. So the main issue in this cause is child soldiering in the country, which is done by the Houthis. I think also the landmines which the Houthis planted, so many of them in Hodeidah, in Taiz, by the Red Sea coasts. This problem is facing to a huge extent the Saudi-led coalitions from going further to liberate more land on the Red Sea coast and inside the inside land of Yemen. And I think this is one of the crimes, the international crimes, war crimes, which is also mentioned even by the reports of the Ismail al-Sheikh within the Security Council. He mentioned that clearly, and he mentioned also that the Houthis are using children as soldiers in the war. Saying that, we should also mention that the Saudi-led coalition, because of this complicated humanitarian issue in the country and in Taiz especially, they are trying to be more careful in having like more casualties within the civilians, and that's what, from my point of view, delay to a huge extent what is delaying the military process and the military operations, the liberation of the country, the whole country. Yes.
Excellent. Dr. Hussein, yes, if you want to comment. Yes.
I cannot understand up to now really the situation or the in Taiz. From one side, we say Taiz is sieged by al-Houthi, and on the other hand, or on the other side, we see the parade of the National Army in the street of Taiz, and the ministers are there or traveling there from Taiz to Aden. So what's the situation really? I couldn't understand it really. And 3 days back, al-Houthi also present in Taiz by a huge parade, also a military parade also in Taiz. So what's the situation really, which I couldn't understand it in this region? Really make me I cannot say, but really I couldn't understand the situation.
Okay, when it comes to the Yemeni Council of Ministers during the extraordinary meeting in Aden, it called on the Security Council, Dr. Hussein, and the international community to take deterrent procedures against Iran that insist on to prolong the war and also supply Houthis with weapons. How do you perceive the Iranian role and interference in this regard?
Well, the role of Iran in the war and the Yemeni issue, it's not something new that need to be declared, or it's known to everybody, and since long time, and since the beginning, and since even the wars of al-Houthi till 2009, when there's 6 wars before that with the Ousted President Ali Abdullah Saleh. So I don't think the international community ignored really the role of Iran in supporting military and politically, and even mediatically. In media, they help a lot of al-Houthi also in the international organization. They try to support the position and the attitude of al-Houthi. For that reason, I think dealing with Iran is linked to other question, also the question in Syria, the question in Iraq, the question in Yemen. So any position or international position or attitude toward Iran will be within a global panoramic or view to see, for example, if it is enough for Iran to stop, or enough to Iran, they have to stop, for example, their intervention in Yemen, to stop intervention in Syria and Iraq. For that reason, I think we can't say that because of the Yemeni question or the Yemeni issue, the international community will condemn Iran or not, and because it is part of the activity really, and the role, the passive role of Iran in the region. So it will come, any attitude of the international community toward Iran will be within these major 3 problems in Syria, in Yemen, and in Iraq.
Dr. Mohammed, the Yemen's permanent representative to the UN Ambassador Khalid Yamani reiterated the government's readiness to make concessions responding to the international efforts to accelerate the process of finding a solution for the Yemeni crisis. What do these concessions comprise?
Well, just before I go to this question, I think Taiz is besieged from like 3, maybe 3 or more, the whole sides of the city. There is just a little way under the mountain, or between the mountains of the southern part of the city, which could lead to Lahj and then to Aden. From this way, through the mountains, some international and Saudi aid could come to the city, and some militants could also go to the city. But the city inside is, of course, it is under the control of the government.
Dr. Mohammed, in a few seconds, please.
From the west and from the...
In a few seconds. We have time, unfortunately.
Regarding your question, regarding the question, I think the Yemeni government, from my point of view, they give what they can do, what is expected from them to do, because the resolutions, the United Nations resolutions, all the resolutions are calling for the Houthis to give over the weapons, to withdraw their troops and their militias from Sana'a or from other cities, and all these resolutions are about the Houthis, not about the Yemeni government.
Dr. Mohammed,
in the other way, the government must be inside the country.
Unfortunately, we run out of time. We cannot but thank you very much for spending this time with us. Thank you very much again. Dr. Hussein, some observers of the Yemeni crisis, and given also the present facts and the military solutions on the ground, they think that these solutions don't bring about serious optimism about the efforts of the UN Special Envoy Ismail Wald Sheikh Ahmed in light of the persistent refusal of the Houthis and coup militias of any solution. Do you agree?
I think to bring the Houthi for a peaceful solution, you have to let him fail, that he is going to collapse. And you have to make a direct pressure on them, economic, military, and political pressure on the Al-Houthi. Al-Houthi, up to now, he doesn't feel that they are in danger. Frankly speaking, they are living, they are collecting money, they are managing their area under their control. Whatever we agree or not, we agree with them, but at least they are controlling the area which is under control. So they didn't feel that they are in risk. And since they are not feeling that they are in risk, I believe me, they will never give up. They will never easily give up, for unless there's a military breakthrough on to let the Houthi feel that the war is near to get rid of them or to be eradicated, or economic what they call it, pressure, or a political pressure on their sponsor in Iran. So a lot of factors should be played by the Saudi coalition, and also by the legitimate government. Because if not, we cannot. And my opinion, Houthi in this situation actual is not ready for peace. Is not ready.
So you agree with some of the observers
Yes.
of the Yemeni crisis, and that the present facts and the military situations on the ground doesn't bring about serious optimism.
No.
And also taken into considerations that they actually, Houthis and the coup militias previously demand of changing of the UN envoy himself.
Well, this is always it is for prolongation of, because if they change the envoy, special envoy for of United
You mean they
Nations,
want to prolong the war?
Yeah, because he will come, he will try to understand, he will get 6 months to have talk with every party, and the party included or involved in that question. So yes, it is just for prolongation of crisis. They are, as I said to you, while they are not feeling that they are in risk, while they are feeling that Sana'a and Damar and Sa'da and Al-Hudaydah and all this area populated by the majority of the population of the country, they will not give up, and they will not accept any initiative, any plan, or any peaceful plan, either introduced by Wald al-Sheikh or by the Arab coalition or by anybody else, will not be accepted, because they are not they are building their military army, they are building their even now they are trying to get rid of their allied forces, President Ali Abdullah Saleh, because they feel that they are no more need of him.
So, Dr. Hussein,
Yeah.
what do you expect for the future of Yemen, and any solution looming in the future in light of the latest developments?
I am not optimist, really. While I have to be optimist in this, really, because as Wald al-Sheikh say in his last presentation to United Security Council, a lot of leaders of the country on both parties are not willing to see peace, and they are getting a lot of gains of this war, and they are invest a lot, and they transfer it to a business. So while those people are still controlling the sin in this country, I don't think we are near to get peace.
Dr. Hussein Lagwar, the political analyst, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Dear viewers, we've reached the end of this episode. We cannot but thank you very much for watching, and special thanks for Firas Kinani, the director of this program, Yazid Al-Husseini, Muhammad Al-Jani, Fahad Al-Yahyan, and a special thanks for the General Supervisor of Saudi 2, Isam Al-Ghalib. Until we meet again, have a good and pleasant time. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.